Good evening. This is the 8 p.m. update here on New CENTER Maine Plus about the big storm that we've had moving through today. I wanted to give us a look at some snow totals. These are obviously so far because there are areas in northern Maine in particular where it is still snowing. But most of us, I would say, we're kind of within that 3 to 6 range like we were expecting. We got 7 inches in Wilton, almost 7 inches in Old Orchard Beach, about 6 in East Baldwin, almost 6 Kittery Point, about 5.5 in Mechanic Falls. You can kind of go down the list here. Got a little bit less up in areas of northern Maine where it's still snowing, almost 4 inches in Camden, about 3 in Bangor. So we've had a decent amount of snowfall so far, but we were able to change over into some sleet. And I wanted to look at some of these totals as well. You can see obviously we don't have a ton of these because it isn't often that they'll differentiate between kind of that sleet, freezing rain, and snow. We'll sometimes differentiate between snow and freezing rain. So some of these totals were the ones that were separated. So there's only a couple of towns that were listed here. For example, Seawall got about 3 inches of sleet and about a tenth of an inch of freezing rain, about 2 inches of sleet in Pembroke, and then it looks like about 0.3 in Cherryfield. So we had a couple of these towns where it was differentiated that would kind of just be sitting on top of the snow there. So very interesting to look at. We've been watching and talking about this system all day. It was a marathon, not a sprint. And we still have precip in some areas across the state, but not everywhere. I wanted to point out where we're seeing the most freezing rain right now is along coastal Washington County, near Machias, Lubec, Beals here. So in that light pink color, that is where we're seeing a lot of that freezing rain moving in. And then in the kind of purpley color just above it is some sleet. So I actually got a report that said in the Millinocket area, it looked like it was depicting snow on the radar, but it had actually been sleeting. So we talked a little bit throughout the day how sometimes the radar gets a little bit confused with those precipitation types. So we're likely already seeing some areas of sleet up here. However, in far northern Maine and then back into the mountains, especially in those higher elevations, they are the ones who will remain snow for the whole day. And we did get a break in the precip along areas kind of the mid-coast here, through southern coast as well. At this point, though, we are starting to see, once again, that precip shield is filling in again. This has happened a lot throughout the day. We would end up with some breaks, but then the precip would pick back up again. Looks like mostly sleet here that will be moving through, but we will have to watch again for some freezing rain right along the immediate coastline because we're not quite done with precip yet. I know it's been a long day. We still have a little bit more here. This area of plain rain and freezing rain moving near the Boston area, that is going to move north along the coastline here. And then this kind of larger area of precipitation, for like example, southern Vermont and Massachusetts here, that will be the last big burst of precip associated with this storm. So as it starts to depart from west to east, we're going to pull in some more cold air on the back of this system. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually switch back over into snow for an area like Portland, maybe near Wiscasset. Best chance to get some plain rain would be along the down east coastline where they're currently seeing freezing rain. So if temperatures tick up just a little bit, they'll get to some of that plain rain. Also, look at some of these dark purple colors, especially up near Caribou or Presque Isle. Up north, could be seeing snowfall rates up to 2 inches per hour, which is considered extremely heavy snow. I mentioned that this storm will exit from west to east across the state here. This is a look at 11 p.m., starting to see the precip break up a little bit. And then by the time we get to Monday morning and throughout Monday afternoon, we'll likely see some scattered snow showers in kind of the northern third of the state, though some could escape a little bit farther south. But Monday overall isn't going to be a super nice day. I'll explain why in a few minutes. And looking at this potential ice graph that we have here, it shows kind of in the pink colors the best chance to get some ice. It has actually started to shrink over the past few hours because some of the threat for ice has passed. Best chance for freezing rain along the immediate coastline, and kind of elsewhere we will be expecting some more sleet, which is going to continue until this storm passes. I said that tomorrow was not going to be a very nice day, and it's mainly because of the wind. I actually wouldn't be surprised if we saw a fair bit of power outages for tomorrow because we could see wind gusts up to 50, even 60 miles an hour in some spots. The National Weather Service has issued a wind advisory. Shaded in tan here, this is the western half of the state, for gusts up to 60 miles an hour. So there's a lot going on with the system that we had today, and it's still going to be an impactful weather day tomorrow in terms of the wind. But we want to take a look outside. Let's get some ground truth. We have Katie Delaney up in Bangor. It doesn't look like it's precipitating too hard where you are, Katie. What's the kind of precip type you're seeing now? Can you give us an update?
Absolutely, Dana. Yeah, so we're definitely still seeing that sleet, but it's a lot lighter than before. When we were on at 7, it was a lot heavier. It was like hitting our faces, but now it's definitely eased up a bit, but it's still seeming like that sleet. But yeah, right now in beautiful downtown Bangor, things are quite quiet. There's a few people out, but a lot of the businesses here are closed, likely due to the snow and everything going on. Looking at some of the conditions, if you look at the sidewalks here, I mean, we're in downtown, but the sidewalks really aren't cleared off at all here. Definitely a few inches of snow to get through if you're trying to walk around. And now looking at the streets as well. Even these main roads, there's a lot of slush, a lot of snow still on the streets. We've seen plows coming around, but the conditions are still really slippery, especially when you get to the roads off of the main streets, like over here. There's almost a foot of snow you have to drive over to turn on to this street. So definitely turning off of main roads, be really careful with those turns. Go slowly, and be careful out here because it's pretty slippery. It's pretty treacherous. So stay inside if you can. Hope some of you out there are bundled up in front of a nice fire. Well, we cannot be. But we will keep you updated on how things are looking out here. Again, right now, things are pretty light, so not too bad, but we'll keep you in the loop. Dana?
Thanks, Katie. I'm not in front of a nice warm fire, but I am in front of the very hot studio lights. So I'm definitely very toasty inside, but someone who is not super toasty and is currently outside is our Pearl Small. She is currently in Portland, I believe. Do we have Pearl? Can we ask her about what kind of conditions we're seeing today? What do we got, Pearl?
I mean, Dana, this is like the best that I've seen it all day. This is like, there's really nothing coming down right now. I'd say the air is almost completely clear. And I guess I'm not the only one that's noticed that too, because this city is like back to being alive again, like it's a normal Sunday night. There are a lot of people out, people walking, going to bars. The State Theater had a show start at 8 o'clock, so we've seen a lot of people go in there. Not sure if they were walking or driving, but there's also been a lot of cars on the road again, and I don't think the conditions are that great. I'm still looking at a lot of slush on the road, so I think people are driving pretty slowly. They're taking the turns pretty slowly, but I wouldn't say it's the best conditions, but it definitely seems like a lot of people may think that this storm has kind of come to an end. But as you said, we may be getting some more snow soon here in Portland, so that's not necessarily the case, but I'll let you elaborate more on that, Dana, and I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Pearl. Yeah, we do have a little bit more precip. I know we're seeing a lot of breaks in that precip shield right now, especially near Portland and Bangor, where our crews are stationed. Elsewhere across the state, not seeing the same conditions there, still seeing snow and sleet in some spots. We do still have a bit more precip to talk about. As we get into the rest of the night, we will have another update here on News Center Maine Plus coming up at 9 o'clock. It'll be me, Katie, and Pearl again. So until then, have a great rest of your night and stay safe out there.